What's up, guys? It's Aaronitmar here with a brand new Famitsu article from Sakurai himself talking about the latest updates for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. As always, this was translated by Source Gaming, so if you would like to read the full transcript of Sakurai's column, please click the link in the description, go check out Source Gaming and read their official translation because they are entirely a fan site, so all of the support that they get means the world to them. But let's go ahead and jump straight into this article. Now, the first thing Sakurai does is very strange, and he apologizes for the 1 week delay. Despite the reason being the earthquake in Hokkaido, he literally apologizes for the delay, which is kind of crazy to me, but I guess it makes sense. You apologize because there's a kind of a pattern here, but it also seems weird that he's apologizing because it was because of a literal natural disaster. But regardless, let's just move on from there. So first thing Sakurai mentions is, of course, that Isabelle has joined the fight in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. And he says that you may have noticed that her movements are incredibly cute in the trailer. But then he says something that's rather alarming, and he says, if you were thinking that we would just be dropping a bunch of newcomers at the same rate that we have been doing up until release, you'd be sorely mistaken, which is kind of a kick in the nads if you are a Smash Ultimate fan and you've been really expecting a bunch of more characters based on the number that we have already received. And I think this is spawning from a lot of the theories that are coming out, the box theory, the blog theory, things like that. So I think he's kind of addressing this as a whole right away. He says that we may have gone a little bit overboard up until this point, so we're going to be slowing our pace from here on out. He doesn't give an exact number, so we don't know how many characters left there are to be revealed, but I guess that we aren't going at the same rate that we have had previously. So just keep that in mind up until December 7th. Next, he mentions something that actually doesn't really apply a lot to non-Japanese speakers, and he talks about the different honorifics or titles that are typically added to a character and that are usually removed in Super Smash Bros. So in Japanese, Isabelle typically has the San honorific, so her name is Shizue, and she's usually referred to as Shizue-san in Japanese. And then he mentions a couple of other characters that typically have a name attached to them. DDD and Bowser both don't have the Great King epithets. Zelda and Peach are also not referred to as princesses, but simply as their names. And so he says that as a rule, all honorifics, all titles, things like that in Smash are all removed, and they simply refer to the character by their unique name. But now let's talk about the specifics regarding Isabelle and how she differs from Villager. First off, Isabelle is apparently based off of Villager, so she pockets different items and she rides on a balloon swing. But she is not an Echo Fighter. That's exactly what Sakurai says. And so if you had any doubts left in your mind that she was an Echo Fighter, let this be the line in the sand. She is not an Echo Fighter, according to literally the dude who makes the game. And the reason she's not an Echo Fighter is because Isabelle and Villager have fundamentally different body types and personalities, and so she just couldn't be an Echo. All of her animations are different, and not a single one is the same. Sakurai then discusses a little bit of Isabelle's origin, how she appeared in Animal Crossing New Leaf, and how she and the human characters in New Leaf were a little bit taller and slimmer than other characters in the previous games in City Folk, Wild World, normal Animal Crossing, so it definitely impacted how her design is. And Villager is notably a bit shorter and a little bit fatter too, and that is because when they were designing Smash 4, they didn't use the New Leaf model, but they actually used the previous model, which I think is from Animal Crossing City Folk. And Sakurai gives a couple of interesting reasons for this decision. The first is that a slimmer Villager would be thinner than Mario, and apparently that wouldn't fit the Villager character. So I'm not entirely sure what he means by that. If he could go into more detail, that would have been nice, but that's all he really said. But apparently, if they had gone with the New Leaf character, the Villager would have been a bit thinner than Mario, and apparently that wouldn't have fit. The second is that Animal Crossing games are played from a bird's eye view, so it's kind of almost a top-down perspective, but more of like an angle. and so it makes the characters' bodies seem shorter than they actually are. And so that's why they went with a shorter villager in order to match how the player perceives the character during gameplay. Sakurai then mentions that the Animal Crossing team asked him to lengthen villagers' neck a little bit, and he said that he didn't really want to do this, but that fielding these types of requests is what Ultimate is all about. And so that's interesting because he definitely seems to respect the work and all of the design that the source material games and the source material team has gone into. For example, we have this. We also have the request from Wii Fit Trainer's team, in that they wanted the Wii Fit Trainer to have a more fleshed out face. So he definitely respects these developers at the same time. And even if he's personally not comfortable with doing something, he will do it in order to, I guess, honor the creators of the original game. Sakurai then starts talking more about the actual design philosophy behind Smash and why certain characters are made a certain way versus other characters. He says that cool things must be cooler, cute things must be cuter. So when they're designing the game, that's the kind of mentality that they have. But at the same time, a cool versus a cute thing, there needs to be a kind of harmony between these two. And so they need to sort of seem like they fit together and belong together, even though they are two fundamentally different things. You know, a cool character like Roy versus a cute character like Isabelle. On paper, it doesn't seem like it would really work, but in Smash, they take a lot of time and effort into making sure that it does work. He also says that the things that they look for in a character or a stage can change by the minute. And I don't think he's being literal there, but I think he's just saying that a lot of tweaking goes in to make sure that a stage, a character, is its best. And what they previously thought of a stage, you know, a month ago might be completely different from what they think of the stage now. So I think that's just sort of the flow of game development, and it's kind of an interesting insight for Sakurai to give us. He asks what is cool and what is cute, and that they can't really be explained by just the physical appearance alone, but it needs to be both the physical, the tangible things that are happening on the screen, as well as the intangible, you know, the concept behind the character or the perception of the character by the player. And he says that that's where playing a lot of games and getting a feel for where things come from, it really comes in handy. The characters in Smash all come from their own titles, and many of them are from a long time ago. But if you only focus on the titles that they come from, then the character itself will not really be appropriate for the current climate of game. So he says you have to know the current standards and create something that works in today's gaming environment, but also strike a balance with the past references. And this is super, super important. He says it's essential. In his final statements, he says that Smash is quite a stew of different characters, but he tries his best to maintain some sense of unity among them while creating a game that can stand on its own in the current climate. And then he says the one thing everyone's excited about, we should be finishing up development soon, I hope. Which means that the game could be very, very close to going gold. Obviously, that doesn't change a lot because they can make the game gold, but then still continue to work on it and have a day one patch. But the fact that they're getting close and comfortable enough to have the game almost ready to start actual production of, you know, the cartridges, getting the game on the eShop, things like that, is very, very exciting. I mean, it's September 26th today, so we still have like 2 solid months before the game is going to come out. So I'm just excited, and it's very encouraging that he says that the development could be finishing up very, very soon. But that, guys, is everything for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I'd love to know your thoughts on anything Sakurai said, anything about Isabelle or his actual concepts behind game design, anything and everything. I'd love to hear about it down in the comments below. If you enjoyed, be sure to hit the like button. If you're new, be sure to subscribe because I cover Sakurai's Famitsu columns every time one comes out, as well as a bunch of other Smash Ultimate news, so don't miss out on anything and hit that subscribe button. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you next time. Peace out and have an awesome day.